Welcome to your next step up the self-publishing mountain.
I'm Matilda Swift, author of quintessentially British cozy mysteries.
And I'm Samantha Cummings, author of young adult books about magic, myths and monsters.
I've written the books,
Changed their covers,
tweaked their blurbs,
tried tools from a dozen ads courses.
and I'm still not seeing success.
Now, we're working together to plot and plan our way from barely making ends meet to pulling in a living wage.
Join us on our journey where we'll be mastering the pen to snag that paycheck.
Hello and welcome to Pen to Paycheck Authors Podcast. I'm Matilda Swift here with my co-host Samantha Cummings, and we're here to write our way to financial success. We're two indie authors with over a dozen books between us and still a long way to go towards the quit the day job dream. If that sounds familiar, listen along for our mastery through missteps journey. Each week we cover a topic to help along the way. This week it's our newsletters and websites. Before we get to that though, let's talk about our wins and whinges of the week.
Okay, let's get into it. No, everything's good. I've had a great week. I've been all over the place this week, but in a really good, positive energy sort of way. So I had my edits for my book that's coming out in September were due to go to the editors, external editors this week. And I woke up on Wednesday morning with when you wake up and you just have the list and you can't stop thinking about the list of everything that you need to do. So I woke up on Wednesday with the list in my head and I couldn't stop thinking about it and I hadn't slept well. So I took an emergency day off my day job, called in sick and and instead spent the day finishing off edits and sending my edits off to my editors and getting all of my ducks in a row. And it was so good. And it's made this week feel like I've won the week. It was such a good use of time. And it felt so good to have a day where I played full-time author. And it was just the best thing in the world. I loved it. I felt like I was a full-time author and I did loads of admin, did my editing, made a new list, felt like I was on a roll. My whinge of the week is that our favourite sushi place is closed down. So I went into Manchester yesterday on Saturday and took Ghost Boyfriend to sushi because I was like, you need to try this. We're going to Manchester.
It's the best sushi in the world. We go there every month.
In the world. Yeah, so I was like, we need to try this. I've been talking about it forever. We're going to go in for dinner because usually we just do lunch and then never get dinner when we're out. So we went in specifically to get dinner. Rocked up, ate sushi, he loved it, went to pay, found out today was their last day and they've gone. So it was a silver lining that he got to experience it, but I'm so sad. I'm just so sad. I can't.
It feels like such a part of our mastermind journey.
Yeah,
we go there every month for our mastermind session.
And I walked in, and the girl who works there, who owns it, was obviously there. She looked up, she saw me. I was like, hi, I finally come for dinner, and it was all exciting and stuff. It's one of those places where it's like Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Yeah,
we both feel so at home.
We don't even
there.
order from the menu anymore. We just order from the past menu that we still like.
Yeah,
it's lovely, and it feels so part of our beginning of our conversations every month.
Yeah. So I'm really sad about that. But what can you do? At least we had a great place that will live on in our memory for the rest of time. That's what I'm whinging about. It's that I just wish it was still there.
Yeah, that's also my whinge. It is more than just a place, and I think it's also really nice to just think about how we've got such a good routine. I still find it almost unbelievable that we've been having a mastermind for 18 months, right? Which is not very long. So we've met 18 times, to have conversations about our careers, and I cringe at the memory of who I was when we started, and not in a horrible way, but as in just I can't believe how far I've come, and I wouldn't be any further if we hadn't started this. I would be exactly where I was.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's just that's why I'm cringing. It's painful to imagine that not having made this progress, and the sushi place is part of that. Because it is just. It's the most welcoming place to every month. Yeah. And it did feel a little bit like home. So that is also my whinge. Do I have another whinge? No, I have a win actually related to that because the person who runs the sushi restaurant is from the town that I live in, which is like a magical
Yeah.
little town where everything wonderful happens. And her family runs a restaurant here. It's not a sushi restaurant, but it is a very nice Chinese restaurant. So I ate there last night in a little bit of solidarity because I couldn't get to the
Hmm.
sushi place today because I was having a really great weekend writing. So I, in my planner this weekend, just wrote write for every single day of the week, the weekend. And I went to the gym one day as well. But I wrote gym and then write. And I did nothing else and it felt delightful. I have been stuck for a couple of weeks at the kind of like revving your engines phase and feeling like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what, actually, let me just turn the engine off and I'm just going to go like clean the car before I set off. And like, actually, let me just go and check how the boot's packed. And I need to
Hmm.
go and sort some things out, make some phone calls for I said. And it was just like lots of delaying tactics because you know that the feeling like the first, like putting out of the drive to really extend this metaphor, like
Yeah.
it could all go wrong, right? It just feels
Hmm.
like, oh gosh, what if I'm not in the right mood and I start the book on the wrong foot, or what if I've forgotten how to write, or
All the
I
same
destroy the whole
thoughts that we all
series.
have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, and for me, I really wish there's a better way through it, but like, it feels like the only way to go through it is just like to experience those thoughts and feelings, and it's
Yeah.
like I would love to get past that because actually, now I'm past it. Oh, it's a delight. And it feels
Hmm.
like I am cheating to be doing this instead of admin. And because often I do admin instead of writing because I feel like the writing's at a hard stage and I'm always like, oh, I'll get this admin out of the way first and I'll get to the writing. And it feels so lovely this weekend. And it's been a really like at ease, beautiful, like fun weekend. Where I've done loads of other things as well. As in like I went to the gym, I've had chats with friends. I had a lie-in this morning. I read my book in bed. I've done various bits of like research on the project I'm doing, and then I've also done lots of writing. And I'm like just this weekend, I've like written a quarter of the book. Great, easy. Could have done more, but just like I just want to keep going at this easy pace, get it done by my schedule, done, and it's been absolute delight. So I am feeling fantastic, though slightly less so about the topic that's coming up.
Okay. That's a good segue. The topic of the week, we're talking about newsletters and websites today. Why are we tackling this? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's it's something we've been putting off for a while.
Hmm.
Or I definitely have been putting off sorting out my newsletter and my website. They're both really big things, as in to make changes to them, you need to really sit down and do something to it.
Hmm.
And they're things where like you can just keep going as is. Right. And like I've got a system, so I send my newsletter out once a week. It's got a kind of set of segments that I just fill it in every week and it's nice and easy and people open it. I just did a big cull of non-openers and like I had missed that for ages. I hadn't done it and I used to be quite regular, so I hadn't done it for ages. So I got rid of everyone who hadn't opened an email in a while and it cut off lots of people. But now the people who do open and it's like 50% open rate. And it feels like, oh, that's good. That's a good number. But if I look at people who actually buy from my newsletter, it's
Hmm.
terrible. Like really, I am just like providing a newsletter service and I'm
Yes.
doing the kind of like know and like part of like building a connection to people, but like I'm not
Hmm.
doing like I think I'm not getting as far as trust maybe, and I'm not really getting as far as like actually people not trusting me enough to buy a book that I recommend when it's my own book. Yeah, so I don't get enough purchase from my newsletter for me to feel like I'm using it correctly. And my website, I absolutely just ignore it. I just think of it as like it's an obligation of the job. And
Hmm.
I made it in one night 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. I was up at like 5 a.m. making it, and I've done nothing to it since apart from like add new books. So I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I could do
Hmm.
more with it.
Yeah, it's we had this talk when we did our mastermind last weekend. Yeah, last
Hmm.
weekend, right? What
Yeah.
like this week has just it feels like a lifetime ago. So we looked at our websites and we had this conversation, and I feel like I had an epiphany.
Hmm.
So my website is kind of more up to date. Like it is I since I rebranded at the start of the year, I rebranded my website. So I've got new branding on there. Um it's definitely more vibey. Like I think when you land on my
Mm.
website, you know instantly like the sorts of books that I write. My imagery is great. It's it's not totally up to date, and I definitely need to get in there and make sure it's guiding people to the right places and introducing me in a much better way. Because somebody actually recently, I met somebody at a writing event that I went to, and she said, "Oh, I'm on your website. Where do I start?" And that was the question, is
Mm.
like, what book do I start with? And it was like one of those moments where it's like, oh, yeah, I haven't really thought about the journey people take on my website.
Mm-hmm.
I just assume, like me, people go on a website and they click around and they look at everything, which is what I do because I'm
Mm.
like a nosy person. I literally click on every page when I go on a website and I see and I look for everything. But other people are looking for a flow. And
Mm.
I haven't got a flow built into that process. Same with my emails. My email flow is definitely clunky as well. Nothing really aligns or like guides people through to anything. All of my
Mm-hmm.
things like emails and websites and in kind of connection to that, every other touch point that I have, like social media, and like my Amazon page and stuff, which kind of creates this whole suite of
Mm.
my brand and my online like identity, um, all feel very disjointed. And
Mm-hmm.
I really want to figure out how to make them all work together, like more streamlined, feel like
Mm.
it's a machine that is bringing people in and keeping people in.
Mm.
So that's kind
I
of
feel
where
like mine are
I'm at.
disjointed. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think mine are disjointed, but also all they really say is like, Here's some stuff."
Mm-hmm.
There's no sense of like this is a sales tool at
Mm-hmm.
all. Um, and I get that. I think in the past I've kind of shied away from that.
Mm-hmm.
My website doesn't have direct sales on, so it's not like it has to be a sales website, but
Yeah.
it literally just like you the homepage of my website is just like pictures of books that I've written,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. You scroll quite far down to get to a picture of me and a tiny blurb, but there's no sense of it as like this isn't the newsletter from an author that you want to buy their books.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like here's a nice person like sharing information about their life in England, isn't it quaint? And it's like that's fine, but it feels like I am too maybe nervous or uncertain to say
Mm-hmm.
that my books are high quality. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like somebody that you think, oh, I'm really like proud to be a fan of theirs at all, because
Yeah.
obviously that's not
Yeah.
how I can perceive of people. Um, though I did get an absolutely, I should put my win of the week, an absolutely lovely review this week that like where someone reviewed a book on they've got like a Facebook group for reviews, and it was like someone who had like understood the books exactly as I'd wanted it. So, and that was really nice. They like the things that I find funny, and they were intrigued by the things that I kind of put in there to be intriguing. So like, oh, that's really rewarding. And I think what I'm not doing still, and we've talked about this in the past, but again, I'm like still trying to have this epiphany of just like, I think I'm still trying to like broadly appeal to everyone and be like,
Yes.
this is some nice stuff. Whereas what I really want to do is like target and drill down to these people, because we talked about this before, I think, in my current series, my Parchment Paper Mysteries, they were like cute little baking similes, which you either love or you hate. And some people
Yeah.
who hate them are like, 1 star, I hate this, it's the worst thing ever. I really wish this person wouldn't stop doing it. And it's like, and I get that, and I'm happy for people to feel that way. Because I think as a reader, I might also find it quite annoying. But if you love it, it's like exactly what you're looking for in a book, because it like keeps reinforcing this theme and the kind of quaintness. And this reviewer was like a really specific, like wrote a paragraph about it. And they're like, oh, I love these little baking similes. They were funny and they kept the tone, and they were the exact right amount where they'd come up regularly, but not too often. I was like, perfect. What I want to do is find those people. Um,
Yes.
and one of the things that's telling me I really, really have to do that is like, I've been doing Facebook ads for this series, and it markets quite well to get book one sold. Book one even gets good reviews, but and even though there's a slight hook on the end, I'm not getting enough read through to book two. And I think I'm just not enough in like all of my touch points with customers. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
enough feeling like a must buy.
Yeah.
And I need to kind of get that vibe. And some of it might be like the books are short and relatively expensive for their length. Maybe that's putting some people off. I don't know. But I think some of it is like, if you love a book and you love the vibe, like the price for an ebook is not that expensive. Like you're going to buy it.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it's like maybe some people are doing that, but I think some of it is like I'm just not conveying enough of like you have to have this. And I really
Mm-hmm.
like when I see authors who do convey that, and I think, yeah, you deserve that. I bet your books are great. And I want to be conveying that more in my marketing all round.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've been trying to edge towards like that confidence, a sense of audacity, like in my social media. Though I really have been up and down my social media recently, but I am kind of still maintaining to some extent. But I'm just not bringing that vibe to anything consistently.
Yeah, 100%. I feel the same. I have all of these like parts, like the website, which does an okay job at showing who I am, but again, does I don't feel like I am conveying like that. Oh, this person's doing a great job. I know exactly what kind of book she writes. I need to get
Hmm.
that immediately. Like that's it's not punchy enough. Like my website is not punchy enough, and I want it to be like an immediate. Oh, this person looks so cool. This website's so cool. The books look great. I immediately want to get into the machine of either buying a book or following on social media and signing up to a newsletter. My
Mm.
emails, I have been struggling with emails for the last 6 months, and I've been really. It's been a real like personal journey with me and my emails. I'm still struggling to build my email list, which is I don't know, maybe just building an email list for YA fantasy readers is more difficult than other genres
Hmm.
because like people don't really sign up to email lists so much anymore. Like it's all social media driven, so it's maybe a little bit more difficult. There's not enough. There's because we use BookFunnel to give out freebies and things
Hmm.
that there aren't regular book funnels for building email lists and stuff. It's not like every day
And
there's
that's
a
not
new
gem, that's
one.
in your genre.
This is just in my
Yeah.
genre, yeah. So this like YA fantasy book book funnel stuff is at the moment the ones that I'm looking at are for like September, October. There's nothing
Yeah.
for like right now, and I
Whereas
would
like
have
several a
to
month for cozies, I had to like choose between
yes,
them. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. So it's really like difficult to you have to really it's more like pre-planning stuff, and I'm very much
Hmm.
a I want to try and build my mailing list this week, and I want to jump
Hmm.
in now, and there's nothing to jump into. So like I'm kind of struggling with that, but I am also struggling with how much of myself I give away in emails,
Hmm.
and we've been talking about this between us, that my emails look great but are kind of very like looking at me through a very very thick pane of glass.
Yeah, I was thinking about this actually because we did have a long conversation about it. And I think what I've been thinking about reflection is like they look more like a publisher or a bookshop email. Like they
Mm-hmm.
don't like they're written by a person. They look like someone who is like very professionally presenting these books, which is
Yes.
fine. But like when I get I'm on this list for like various bookshops and
Mm-hmm.
publishers, and I don't read them. Like I
Yeah.
might have a quick skim through if there's something in the headline that I find interesting, but I that's not a source that I look forward to reading their emails.
Yeah.
Um, and I think again, part of the reason why we've talked about this, and I think we've already had a bullying episode on that, is
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
you are so personable, and like whenever I look at your emails, I always expect to be like, oh, this is going to be full of
Mm-hmm.
fun anecdotes and like lots of cute pictures and just a really like strong emotional connection, and it's too professional,
Yeah. I
which
think
feels odd to say.
I no, I agree. I because I come from a background of like before I started like properly delving into being a full like trying to be a full-time writer. I've had other things in the past, like I've had blogs and like I have a bookshop where I do email people as like a business. And
Mm,
so I approach emails as a business, and obviously in my day job as well, like I do a lot of email marketing, and the tone is very business-like. Like
mm,
it's all like very business-minded and not personal. So I have approached it in the same way, and the same like I feel like I'm putting myself into it, but I also know that I'm like just scraping or skimming the top layer of my life off and offering it
mm.
as like a teasing way to get people to like me. Like, oh, here's a tiny bit of information about me. Like me. Now buy this book. And
Yeah.
I'm not so much. I'm always not so much now because I do try really really hard not to be pushing like the buy, not in sync, but
Hmm.
like I'm trying not to push the buy my book line, and I'm trying to do the no like trust bit a little
Hmm.
bit more. The email that I sent today felt very much more like just me
I
chatting.
haven't seen your email today.
Oh, I my email today was very breakdown of my week. Here's pictures and
Oh my goodness.
some, yeah, like I really tried very hard. So I can't even believe you've not read it.
It's not popped up. I'm on your
Oh,
list
that's
definitely, but
weird.
it's gone into my other inbox,
Oh,
so it didn't pop up as like a
well,
focused one. Mm.
very rude. Please move it to focus
Yeah.
immediately. But yeah, like I put a lot more of myself into it, and I'm trying to hold myself back from getting people to buy and just trying to email people like, hey, it's me, Sam, your friend. Aren't I cool?
Mhm.
Don't you like me? Yeah. So
It's got pictures of
it's
you. Yeah, this is what I would expect from a newsletter.
yes.
Um, what I always find interesting is like the newsletters that I read from people that I don't regularly buy from, and how that's different to and like how why I keep reading them and how it makes me think about buying their books. And I often look at like trad authors for this because what I find fascinating is like, as always, how much marketing trad authors do for themselves. And it's like, why are you
Hmm.
giving away your money for this? But there are three authors who I regularly read their newsletters, and they only publish one book a year. So, and they send newsletter out, I think, once a month. So there's Louise Penny and Laurie R. King, who are both crime writers, and then Joanne Harris, who writes all sorts of odds and ends for writers and readers. So I'm just going to make a note of those to put in the newsletter because I think they're all newsletters where they feel um, they're really long. All of them are really long and
Yeah.
very detailed, and they have an enormous spread of things. So even if you're just skimming, you get a real sense of someone's life. And it's like, it's a bit like one you just sent today, which is like, here's how my allotment's doing, here's how my writing process is going, here's the events I'm going to, here's a couple like funny links I've been looking at. And I would say Joanne Harris is the least of them. The other two are relatively older women, but they read like if your eccentric aunt sent a round robin to the whole family. They read like that, and
Hmm.
it's lovely to read. And I don't often read like by Joanne Harris books because they're not quite my genre. But I would if I saw them that I liked,
Hmm.
and it kind of keeps top of mind for me. And the other two, I would buy their books anyway if they come out every year because they're both authors that I really like. Um, but reading their newsletter really does keep them in mind, and they must put a
Yes.
lot of work into it. Actually, I think at least one of them's got an assistant to do it for like with her, but like they look unpolished
Hmm.
in a
Yes.
nice way.
Yeah. Well, this is the epiphany that I had when you're talking about like just getting updates from people and it just keeps them in your mind. Is that last time we were talking about this, we always, whenever you think about marketing and email marketing and your websites and stuff, people talk about the funnel, the sales funnel. And the sales funnel, whilst I love the image of it and I get it, it doesn't help me because it's so 2D and I feel like really this whole thing that we're doing is 3D, maybe even
Hmm.
4D.
At
If
least
you want to
4D.
think, if
Yeah.
you want to think in terms of time as well. Um, I the way that I like draw myself a little picture of it, and basically the way that I'm trying to think of it and like reimagine it is rather than it being a sales funnel, I have a pinball machine.
Hmm.
And what I want to do is get a customer, aka a ball, and I want to get it into the pinball machine and I want them to hit all the points as many times as possible. So that's like I want them to hit an email and I want them to then hit my website and then go to my social medias and then go back to my emails. And I want to keep them spinning around and like banging onto things. And I want to keep them in the machine for as long as possible, which
Mm.
means that they have to hit all the stuff. I have to be putting out all the stuff that they will want to hit against and
In
keep
this
them.
metaphor, do they
Yeah.
buy a book when they've gone through the hole and they're out of the end, or is like hitting things also buying books?
Hitting things isn't so much buying books. Like going through the end is like where they become a forever customer.
Mm.
Um,
I felt like pinball machine we need different. We need like a slide from before
it's
because like they
yeah,
lost you then.
yes. If it's not like they're not lost. Maybe like a pool table where they go into the pockets and then they're kept forever. Like that's I've got
Mm.
them into the pockets. Something like that. I just like I need
Maybe
to
it's like
think of it
3D or
more.
4D pinball because I think we do need to keep them inside the machine.
Yes,
But like once they're in the machine and they've made purchases, they go to like a different layer of
yes,
like then I want to keep hitting them around, but maybe they feel something different about me or they hit
yeah.
different touch points. Maybe they reach out themselves.
Yeah, let's invent
Um,
a new pinball machine. It's
yeah,
a multi-level
multi-layered,
4D pinball
like a bunk bed for a
machine.
pinball machine.
Yeah. So that's how I'm trying to think of it. And what I'm trying to think is, rather than trying to keep people in a funnel where it's just like they're just going straight down the chute,
Yeah.
I need to think of it more like I'm creating a universe of me. I'm so self-centered. A universe of
Hmm.
me, and I want me to become the thing like that they think about, and they see things like when we're doing our social media stuff
Mm.
um with our social
Social
objects.
objects. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just want to get under people's skin and to be memorable, and for them to see something and think of me, and then think, oh, what, isn't their book coming out? I'll check their website, or I'll check their socials. Oh, when was the last email I got from them? I best go and check my
Mm.
other folder and see if it went in. That's where I'm at right now, is how do I make myself memorable? How do I make all of my touch points visually pleasing, but also like entertaining and valuable?
Mm.
And that's me right now.
Yeah, yeah, because I
Just
think I do find myself thinking like, oh, I haven't seen a Laura King newsletter for a while. Have they been like started being filtered to my other folder or to my spam?
Mhm.
They're not popping up for me, and I might go back and read a few in a row. And I often I don't read them in detail. They are very long. They've got real eccentric ant vibes. But like I like dropping in and out of like different sections of it and different segments because obviously both of them have long section we talk about like events they're going to do. It's like I don't particularly care for that sort of event, so I just like
Yeah.
skim over it. But it's like again, it gives me this sense of they are people who are important in a way that
Mhm.
like they are wanted at lots of events, and it just sort of seeps in my mind, right? I'm not consciously thinking this, but from like having those touches with them, it creates this vibe for them in a way that my
Mhm.
newsletter doesn't. Um, it just looks like a newsletter you might get from like a nice cousin. And I
Right.
don't have eccentric ant vibes. It's like a nice organized cousin who is no bother at all.
Mhm. Yeah. It's it's like I feel like I'm, and this is a mentality, that mindset thing. Like I feel like everybody else makes it look so easy, and I feel
Mm,
dumb for not figuring this out. But I really like I have to learn these things the hard way, and
hmm.
I have to be okay with that. But I feel like this is like such a, I don't want people to be listening to this and thinking like, well, duh, of course, like this is how it works. Like that's what you've just described, the sales funnel. It's like it's always been 4D. Like what are you talking about? But I really have to, like, the way that I learn is like by doing, and I have to reimagine stuff and
Mm.
put myself in the map. you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I got to get in the map. I
yeah.
am also an in the map person. I do also think when people talk about funnels, because it's a term we use across lots of different industries, there is really a sense in which like when people talk about like email funnels, it does give this vibe of you should be funneling people into a sale straight away.
Yeah.
Um, and you are trying to get them like in your ecosystem.
Hmm.
The tricky part with that, I think, is when you don't have enough books to feel like, oh, I can talk about like, oh, if you like this sort of book, try these. If you're looking for these other characters, this is the series that you want. And also, if
Hmm.
you've got like I've got three series, but I feel like the first two, I was really like there's things in them that I was learning as I was going. And I think like, oh, I wouldn't say, if I was setting up my shop, it's quite a small shop. If I have
Hmm.
like three series, but I'd really say like go with the newest one first. Like that is the one that I
Yes.
think has got
Yeah.
it's like
Ignore those
broadest
ones
appeal.
though.
Yeah, and like come
Yeah.
back if you're a real fan. You want to go back and like look at the back catalog then. But like
Hmm.
if I'm setting up like a shop front on like a farmer's market at a weekend, I would put the most recent series up front, and that has got three short novels and a novella in it. That's quite a small shop front to be promoting and to be hand selling and like talking up a lot. Because if you just happen not to like that concept of that series, you're like, well, okay,
Hmm.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Um, which is not true, right? Like I think yeah, and I think some people, if they were selling like hand selling in a farmers market and had one series, they'd come home empty-handed with like all their books sold, and that's just not me. I, that's just not the kind of the way I can conceive of making a connection with readers.
Mm.
So yeah, so I do think I think I'm just not sure and maybe I don't have to be sure, but like I'm just not sure at the moment of like exactly what I'm trying to get out of my newsletter. Like,
Yeah.
is that the place in which my I don't think I'm like clueless on it. I think I've got thoughts on it, but I think there's still something that I'm not quite confirmed about in my head. It's like, is that the place where my super fans are like getting first exclusive stuff? No, because then I would expect better
No.
purchase rates for my newsletter. I
Yeah.
think my newsletter people like people who like my newsletter, which is like it's got cute pictures of cats in and like nice English countryside, and
Yeah.
it's a short read with some pretty pictures in. Like I think I would read
Hmm.
that from someone else even if I weren't ever going to buy their books. Um, and so I don't quite know how to like turn that into a purchase tool. I think maybe I want to have some different experiments and like feel fine having more unsubscribes and like
Yeah.
alienating people who aren't really ever going to buy anything. And the good thing about my newsletter is I have got some really, really good ARC readers from it. So it's like it's definitely not got nobody in there who's making a connection. It's not got none of the right people, but I'm not cultivating it enough to make it like do I want a fandom? Do I want a sales tool? Do I want it to be like make a connection? I think I'm just not quite sure what I'm doing with it. Um, I'm not picking one route, and
Hmm.
then it's just kind of doing lots of things not well.
Yeah, I think that's probably how I feel. It's like I haven't decided what I'm trying to use it for. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely like my email list is definitely not a sales thing whatsoever. In fact, I would say like not majority, but a lot of people in my mailing list are people who know me in real life, or
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, like maybe like who know me more than people who follow me on social media. And
Mm.
so they are keeping up with me in the same way that like my family keeps up with me on Facebook. They are there to hear what I'm doing because they're interested, but they're not. And obviously this is like goes against when everyone's like your mailing list is your like your biggest assets because they are the
People say that all the time. It's
diehard
like they.
diehard
It
fans.
feels
That's
like
not where my
gaslighting.
fans. Yeah, like that's. I mean, yeah, I want that to be true, and so I
Mm.
want everybody to get into my mailing list because if social media does go down, I want to be able to contact people. But my true blue fans are on Instagram, and
Yeah.
I'm gaining more followers on TikTok every day, and getting those people into a mailing list is like
Mm.
nigh on impossible. You know, like people, particularly like I think YA readers, and maybe I don't know, this is just me. Maybe I just haven't figured out the right way to sell it. Um, so if you're listening to this and you write YA or fantasy and stuff, tell me, tell me if I'm wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
people aren't interested in signing up to a mailing list anymore, and they just get their news from Instagram or TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And like how I don't know, like I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
like
I
what
do
that
wish there
means
was
for me.
more. There was more around the follow that conversation, which starts with your newsletter is your greatest asset. But if it's
Mm,
not right now, here's what to do. But it's always like it's
yes.
where your biggest fans are. It's where you're gonna have most people
Hmm.
following you. It's the only real estate you own. It's like yeah, but what I own is a paid list, a list I pay for of thousands of people who don't buy my
Hmm.
books. So now
Yeah.
what? And it's not
Yeah.
like again, it's not like none of them do. It's just not a number I'm at all like motivated by. And I still send my newsletter. Like I like it. I think it keeps up um communication and connection to me, and I get some replies and I get some purchases, but
Hmm.
not anything like I would expect from the number of people on the main list.
Hmm.
So then what am I doing it for? Like if I had to make a business case for my main list, it would be gone. Like in
Yeah.
terms of the amount of time it takes me versus the number of sales I get from it, then
Hmm.
I would be better off. It's not a huge amount of time is the issue, right? So, but even so, like it's a few hours a month. I could get a part-time job and spend that money on ads, and I probably would make back the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And so kind of like the same with websites sometimes. Like I love a website and I love having my domain and feeling like I've got my own hub, like a place.
Hmm.
I grew up when websites and like the internet were booming. You know, like I'm a 90s, like was a teenager in the 90s.
Hmm.
The internet was like, oh, like I remember the first music video I watched on YouTube. I remember the websites I used to spend all my time on. Like it's super ingrained into me, this like love of the internet and what it means. I kind of like I would love my website to be like the websites I used to hang out with on when I was a kid, like the forum and all of that kind of stuff. Like
Mm.
that's what I would love my website to be like, but that's not what people use the internet for anymore. So imagine like if you didn't have a website and you just made Amazon, like your author page on Amazon, the best it could be, and you made sure all of your A+ content was like super cool and gave all the information that it needed to give, and you'd save so much money. But at the same time, I don't want to give up my website because I love it, because I'm just so emotionally invested in the internet and websites.
Yeah. I don't think it's worth the money really for me at all. Like it's not cheap, it's not expensive, but it's like to get the domain, which like you need for some things, right? Like you need it for your email. You don't need it, but like it's helpful for your email and it looks professional. But like if I had to put a value on it, it will be less than what I pay. I don't think I get any monetary benefit from it. I just get tech benefits from it. But it's like it's an expense. And then I think like, well, I'm paying that money, so why don't I get good use out of it? Because I don't know what I want to use it for. I
Yeah.
think this is an epiphany conversation in that I thought I was talking about newsletters and mailing lists, and then like a website. So it's like actually what I'm talking about is how do I want to treat my audience? Do I want to build a fandom? The thought of that makes me feel very uncomfortable. I don't like interacting with people. That's not true. But
But you're so good at it.
yeah, in like I don't know, in a way that there's expectation built up, right? Like in a way that like I'm a real like ghosting person. Like I don't feel a sense of consistency. I really go to phases where like if I'm in my writing, I'm like I'm super in it and I don't want to talk to anyone. I can't have conversations like I can't like right now you can hear in the podcast like this is not my most fluent because I've been writing all weekend and I'm in a writing phase. I find it hard to get my brain to like function in a communicative way when I'm like in a writing phase. And so I don't at all relish the idea of having like a really engaged Facebook group who are chatting every day. And some authors really do. They love that. So it's like, so if I don't love that, I shouldn't do it. And then it's like, but then what should I be doing? You don't have to, right? You don't have to have a fandom.
No.
That's one way of doing things. So then what else do I want to do with my customers? I don't want to just think of them as customers at all, right? Like, but that's what they are in terms of a business situation. But yeah, so I just sort of pinball around to misuse the metaphor, and don't really think about what I want, what my ideal world will be, my ideal interaction.
Yeah.
And so I just
Whereas,
don't do anything.
yeah, I think that I know what I want my interactions to be, but I don't know. Well, I always say this, like I'm a flake, and I am a flake. And if you're in our Discord group, you know that I drop in as often as I remember to. But there are days where I'm like, oh, I haven't opened Discord for 4 days, like I'm like in and out. But back in the olden days of the internet, like I say, I was like a forum moderator for a website. I did role playing. They're not like weird kinky stuff, but like we had like a forum for like Harry Potter role play stuff where you like there was like a story that would it's very hard to explain, but
I
I
can't
was
keep a
part
straight
of like
face.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like very hard to explain, but it was a very like a very
There was a kinky
geeky.
part of it that you weren't
There was
in
no
on.
kinky stuff. It was like
Okay.
it was just like a sad place where Harry Potter fans hung out. And but I used to be on like multiple websites doing things where I would interact with people and like keep a forum
Whereas I had a
going.
live
And
journal, right? That was
yeah.
my internet experience. Like I'll just be sad by myself.
And then like and I also had a blog and I blogged, and so I know how to cultivate online relationships. And I would love to do that for myself, but then I also know that I won't be able to show up often enough to do it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Maybe I'm better now. Like maybe I'm actually not as bad as I think, because I've shown up every week to this podcast and I show up
Yeah.
every month to our mastermind. Like maybe I'm
The
just telling
week you didn't have no
myself,
sushi. So
yeah, I'm just telling myself like the same story of myself over and over again, but actually that's not a real story anymore, which is like a problem in my life in general. Like I find it hard to shed old ideas of myself, which is why I'm like, you can't see this maybe if you watch this video at some point in the near future.
Definitely watch it, because this is good quality clothing.
I am rebranding myself as a human being. I was talking to my boyfriend about this, saying like, I've ordered some clothes because I'm rebranding. I want to look like I want to be a different person. I want to be the version of myself that I think I am in my head. So like I'm always telling myself that I'm something and then trying to be something else. So yeah, I feel like I'm in like a big transition in my life. Maybe once I step through to like wherever I'm going with all my new nice clothes, I'll realize that I am a person who can show up often.
Yeah,
and
in fact, I don't think of you as
this.
being like flaking on the Discord. I think you come in regularly, like into the right positions, points of the conversation. I don't think you have to be there every day. It's not an everyday thing.
Yeah. I just feel like I should be. I mean, I show up to my day job every day, well, apart from this week, but I'm like, I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's an identity crisis. I feel like my personal identity crisis is mirrored in my business identity crisis.
Yeah.
Who am I? What am I trying to do? What do I want people to think when they look at me? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Epiphany. Oh my god. Things we need to go to therapy for.
Yeah. Why do we think this would be like a small episode of like just newsletters and websites? Because we've had the conversation as well already. We've had the conversation because we looked at each other's newsletters and websites and had a private bullying session. Yeah. But it does come down to how are you perceiving your interaction with other people and your readers, and how are you guiding that? And at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm making a choice by not making a choice, right? Like I'm not making a choice in any particular way, and therefore I'm left with just like, here's some stuff. Have a look.
Yeah.
Which is not, I would rather be like, I want to be Marmite. Like my book is Marmite, right? I want to be Marmite. It's like people who love it are gonna love it, and people who hate it, like, 1 star, don't read this.
Yeah. Yes, I think we need to decide to be way more Marmite-y.
Which is not a good international reference. I'm so sorry. Marmite is a spread that is disgusting. Some people supposedly love it.
I'll say the word. Yeah, I love it. So it's yeast extract, if you can even imagine what that means. It's a thick, dark brown, almost black tar-like paste that you have to like you get a knife and you scoop it out of the jar, and you have to spin the knife because it's kind of like honey in that it'll go everywhere if you don't contain it.
And it looks like tar. It looks like it shouldn't be edible.
So good. I am the person who loves Marmite. I have it almost every day. I'm considering putting it on pasta. Like I'm getting to that point where I'm thinking, what else can I add this to?
My dad's trying to make me Marmite bread because he's in a bread making phase at the moment and getting really good at it. And then he was talking about making a loaf. And he's like, oh, I've really seen recently the shop near us does Marmite bread. And I was like, please don't make me that. I hate Marmite. I won't enjoy it. Like,
I will take the Marmite bread. Oh no, I'm all over that. So,
but their branding is you either love it or you hate it, right? Which is just like people talk about that all the time. It's very good for branding.
In the UK, like Marmite, love it or hate it, is just something that everybody knows. Everybody knows what that means. It's something that's just so divisive. You can't be in the middle. And that's the best place to be.
Which is also not true, right? Some people do kind of like Marmite, but it's just like...
No, I don't trust those people.
But that's the branding, right? The branding is like, no, we're so divisive. We're an edgy spread, even though what they are is a disgusting spread. But absolutely they don't allow for that conversation. Yeah.
That conversation of, I'm all right about it. No, cut off. Nothing to do with it. I do want to be that. And I think probably earlier in our careers, and all writers probably, you don't want to be the person that people hate because you think all you want is 5-star reviews. But you gotta be realistic. And actually in life, I love angering people. There's nothing I love more than making somebody angry and annoying people. I love annoying people. Like,
this is not at all how I feel. But I do think, I'm not even necessarily thinking like I want to make people hate me, but I think there are people who hate my books, and that is fine. And I want those people to know, don't read this book. It's not for you. I don't want people to think like, maybe I'll give this a try. Oh, it's the worst 1 star. I want to make it clearer, like both me and my branding, like the things I'm into. If you don't like those things, not for you. Walk away. Go and find someone
Yeah,
else.
I guess that makes more sense.
Than
And
actively
that
trying to
comes
annoy
down
people.
yeah, I mean, I do love actively annoying people. I'm so good at it. But we need our websites and our emails and our social medias and every single point that a customer might see us and interact with us to be reiterating what we're doing.
Mm.
And once again, this comes to like a very old point: branding, identity,
Like episode 3.
which is the stuff, the stuff that we're always putting off and thinking about. But the thing is, at the start of this year, I really did a lot of work on my branding and identity, and I feel like I'm there. So I don't understand. I just need to try and get it more
Mm-hmm.
involved in everything else.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like
It's
it should be
hard.
so easy, but I can't. I feel like I'm like wading through mud. Like I know, like if I just keep going, like I'll get out of the mud, but it feels so difficult this part that I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like we keep thinking we're out of the mud and we've just made a step in like through the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, to make a good reference to a film reference scene, we just want to make sure we're not like, drowning like a horse in the mud. We're like, just get out of the mud, just walk out of the mud.
Yeah, or we don't want to land in the bog of
Drugs.
eternal stench.
Yeah.
Oh, I love an
Yeah.
80s reference. Sorry, all you young'uns who don't know what we're talking about. So that's on you.
Hmm. Yeah, we've talked more about newsletter than websites, but I feel like my website
Yeah.
is worse than my newsletter. My website is just like, here's some like nothing. I really haven't thought about it, looked at it, because I just don't know what the purpose of it is, right? When I don't sell things from my website is almost just like I want to hold real estate on the internet, and I
Yeah.
don't expect anyone to look at it. But it's like that's not
It's
true. Some people do, and I could
yeah,
do
and
more with it.
it's an opportunity. It's just another opportunity for people to find you
Mm.
and
And I
for them
want to
to
do
know
more with
where
it.
to
Like I'm
go.
gonna put a serial on there at Christmas. I think I want to make sure I
Yeah.
am updating it before then and making sure it does have people like finding information. And at the bare
Mm-hmm.
minimum, you should be able to find information, not just like look at picture book covers.
Yeah, because if you
Mm.
think your social media is so diluted, you can only show a little bit of yourself at a time. A lot of the time, you're
Mm.
just repeating yourself because you've got messaging that you're trying to get out. Your emails are again like you're just like drip feeding more current information, and your website should be like your golden, like this is everything you need to know about me. This is everything you need to know about
Mm.
my books and what I write about. This is like everything. This is the Bible of me.
Mm.
Yeah, come and join my religion / cult.
Hmm. Well, have we got anything
Yeah.
else to say on this
No,
topic?
I feel like this is going to be with me for a long time, this
Yeah.
trying to figure stuff out, and it's just an ongoing process. So I have
Yeah.
nothing else to say. I'm sorry for all of my random analogies and visual just craziness.
I feel like we need a graph of like how tortured the metaphor is per episode. And it's like that is a sense of how complicated the topic is. Because this topic
Yeah.
sounds simple, but it's in fact led to some very extended metaphors today.
Mhm.
And suggests that like it's a deep one that we need to think about more.
Yeah.
So yes, we shall be returning to this. I also don't want to make any changes. Like I do not want to actively do anything on this topic, but I will because I need
No.
to. But I
Yeah.
have a lot of
Yeah.
resistance to like putting in the work because it's very time consuming, and it also takes a lot of kind of brain work to think about what do I actually want to do, what am I going to get out of this, how do
Mhm.
I do it. So it will be an ongoing topic that we return to.
Yes.
Next week, we're also talking about a topic that we've been putting off for a while. And we've had it on a list of episodes we want to talk about. And then we keep like, oh, should we do that next week? And for some reason, we've now agreed to it next week, like in the actual
Yes.
next episode. It is how to write a series. Do you have any
Mhm.
initial thoughts on that? And why did we agree to it
I
next week?
do. I'm ready. Well, we had to fit it in somewhere, and when we were talking about it, I was like, I'm ready to talk about this because I last week was just sat on a train wondering what I could do to pass some time, and my brain immediately went to like, what's the rest of my series going to be about?
Mhm.
You know, that age-old question. I've written a book. I haven't thought about what the rest of the series is going to be about. So it just got things percolating in my brain.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
if I don't talk about this now, it'll be too late.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I need to jump on this whilst it's there. So that's why I'm happy to talk about it. What you want to talk about is up to you.
I feel like I'm in a good place to talk about actually because I'm just starting in earnest on book 4 of a series, and I tend to think of my series. I read Creative Mysteries, so the series are sort of effectively like a flat arc, ongoing series, which I've seen more recently of like um finite series, but in principle they should generally be ongoing as long as people are interested. But I tend to try and think of them as like having little trilogies of backstory within each of them. So book 4 I think I often find like a tricky book because you're like sort of opening up a new arc of backstory, and it's how to kind of keep that going with also then all the backstory from books 1, 2, and 3, kind of keeping those in. So yeah, I think we'll have very different things to say on this, but hopefully useful things
Yes.
to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm also in the back of my mind trying to kind of keep mulling over some future series. So it will be
Mm-hmm.
useful to kind of talk about that, have some thoughts and get them down. I am maybe anticipating some very tortured metaphors next week because it's a
Oh,
complicated topic.
it's gonna be terrible.
We'll be like 10-dimensional pinball level of metaphor.
Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm
Well,
happy to be insane.
I'm sure everyone will look forward to that as well. Do join us next week. We were looking forward to
Mhm.
it. Please subscribe, like, share, to a friend. Sign up to our coffee to buy us some caffeine to keep this going, and
Mhm.
even some cakes. We need to drown our sorrows after the sushi restaurant is closed. That
Yes.
is, the most important thing in our lives right now. So yes, sign up for the coffee if you want to support the podcast. Sign up for Discord if you want to support yourself and hop in there, have a chat. We've had some great conversations this week about like really good topics, and I think the best
Mhm.
thing about it is like it's a group of authors, so you can talk about things in there that you can't talk about with anyone in your real life. They just wouldn't get it,
Yeah.
and it has really felt like valuable for that this week. So yeah, I've been really loving it in there. Link is in the show notes, so just hop on in. No requirements for anything, just join and you're in straight away. We will look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to Pen to Paycheck Authors.
Stay tuned for our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to learn how to write your way to financial success.